All right, welcome. If you're trying to make your professional English sound a whole lot more natural, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down two things that native speakers use all the time, usually without even thinking about it: collocations and idioms. Getting a handle on these is really going to make you sound more fluent, so let's jump in.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why some words just seem to click together. Then we'll define what collocations actually are. After that, we'll decode idioms, and we'll wrap up with a solid strategy you can start using today.
Okay, let's get started. You know, one of the biggest challenges for English learners is figuring out why some word combinations sound right and others just don't. It's not always about grammar. A lot of the time, it's just about what feels natural.
I mean, think about it for a second. Fast and quick. They basically mean the same thing, right? So why can't we just swap them whenever we want? This little puzzle is really the key to what we're talking about today. Just look at these pairs here. We say fast cars, fast food, but we say a quick meal or a quick visit. Now, saying quick food or a fast meal, it isn't technically wrong, grammatically speaking, but to a native speaker, it just sounds a little off. And getting these natural pairings right is one of the secrets to sounding truly fluent.
Okay, so let's put an official name on this idea. What we've been looking at are called collocations. You can think of them as the fundamental building blocks for sounding authentic and professional when you speak English. The most important thing to remember here is that collocations don't really follow any strict rules. They're just words that have become strong partners over time. So the goal isn't to memorize a bunch of grammar rules, but to start developing a feel, an ear, really, for what sounds right.
This is a perfect example of why just translating word for word can get you into trouble. In Spanish, the verb hacer covers both do and make. So it's really easy to end up saying something like do a cake when an English speaker would always say make a cake. Learning the collocations, you make a cake, but you do your homework, is how you avoid these common little trip-ups.
It's also helpful to know that not all collocations are equally strong. Some are really rigid, like take a photo. You can't use another verb there. It wouldn't sound right at all. But others are weaker, which means you've got options. You can take the train or you can catch the train. Both sound perfectly natural.
And collocations show up in all kinds of different patterns. You'll see adverbs with adjectives, like seriously injured. You'll see adjectives with nouns, like strong coffee, or verbs and nouns, like order food. Honestly, once you start looking for these, you are going to see them absolutely everywhere, in emails, in reports, in meetings, you name it.
Okay, so we've got collocations, words that are natural partners. Now, let's talk about something that's a little bit trickier: idioms. These are phrases where the meaning has almost nothing to do with the individual words. They kind of break all the rules.
So what is an idiom exactly? Well, it's basically an expression where the meaning of the whole phrase is totally different from the sum of its parts. If you try to figure out an idiom by translating it word by word, you're just going to get really confused.
Let's use an example from Spanish to make this super clear. Here's a common expression: tomar el pelo.
Now, if we translate that directly into English, word for word, we get to take the hair, which makes absolutely no sense, right? This is the classic trap with idioms. You can't figure them out just from the words themselves.
The actual English equivalent is to pull someone's leg, which you'll notice is also an idiom. It just means to joke with someone or to tease them. This is a perfect illustration of why you have to learn idioms as complete chunks with their own special meanings.
And idioms are all over the place in the business world. During a negotiation, for instance, you'll often hear people talk about needing to find common ground, or maybe they'll say a certain issue is a sticking point. Using these correctly really shows that you have a deep understanding of both the language and professional culture.
So we get what collocations and idioms are. That's great. But the big question is, how do we actually learn to use them? Well, let's get into a practical plan you can start right away. Here's a really simple 4-step strategy. Step 1, start reading actively. Don't just read to understand, be on the hunt for these word pairs. Step 2, copy them. When you see a native speaker use a great phrase in an email, write it down. Step 3, do a little research. Got a big negotiation coming up? Google negotiation idioms. And finally, a good collocations dictionary can be an amazing tool.
So, let's just do a super quick recap of the main difference. Collocations are all about words that sound natural together, like strong coffee. Idioms are phrases with a special, non-literal meaning that you can't guess, like a sticking point. And that brings us to the end.
The next step is really up to you. The best way to learn this stuff is to just start paying attention to it. So, my question for you is, what new collocation or idiom are you going to look for today? Keep your eyes and ears open. Happy hunting!